Hi, I'm Amie Kaufman and I'm doing 3 quick questions with Alan and Unwin. The Isles of the Gods and The Heart of the World are a duology. The Isles of the Gods is a seafaring fantasy. It is about a playboy prince and a sailor girl who has to help him get to an island where he will complete a sacrifice and prevent a war between the gods. Now, it wouldn't be much of a story if everything went well, so you can safely assume that everything does not go well. We have a shipwreck. We end up taking a trip through speakeasies and underground clubs. We are chased through a city. We are chased across the high seas. We're chased a lot. They're not having a great time, but you will. In The Heart of the World, we pick up almost exactly where the Isles of the Gods left off. This one expands the world. We get to go to the palace and see the palace intrigue. We get to see the beautiful glittering ballroom, and we get to go to the bibliothèque, also known as the Heart of the World, the greatest library in the world. So if you like 1920s inspired fantasy, giant libraries, seafaring fantasy, if you like intricate magic systems, and love interests who just find each other intensely annoying until they later don't, then this is the duology for you. So writing Heart of the World was a really joyful experience, and especially as compared to writing Isles of the Gods. The Isles of the Gods took me 10 years. I had this idea, I came up with the characters, I had the world, I wrote the first couple of chapters, I thought I had it all going on, I was ready to go, and then I just hit this brick wall of not being good enough yet, of not being able to find a way to weave together this huge world and this intricate magical system and this large cast as well. There are 5 points of view. My eyes were bigger than my stomach. I had the idea, but I didn't know how to execute it yet. And over a full decade, I kept coming back and trying again and again until I was good enough. By comparison, The Heart of the World was a joy because now I knew the world, I knew the characters, I was in. It was like putting on a comfy pair of pants. And the other fun thing about writing The Heart of the World is that when you're writing a trilogy and you're in the second book, you're still setting up and you've got to leave some stuff for book 3. When you're writing a duology, you set it up in book 1 and you knock it down in book 2. And that means that in book 2, everything and everyone is up for grabs, which I really enjoy as a writer. There are probably deeper and shallower answers to this. One of the reasons that I wrote this series is that the sea is really special to me. I love sailing, I love being out on the water, I love the soft sound that you get beneath the hull as a boat starts to pick up speed, and I love looking at the horizon and there being nothing there except possibility. And I grew up doing that. I took my first steps on a boat and I wanted to take you sailing with me. I wanted to give you a few moments of experiencing the sea the way that I do. And that's one of the things that I hope readers will take away from this series, that they'll have really walked in my shoes and my character's shoes for a moment. But the other thing that I would like people to take away from the series is to question the idea we all have that we always know what someone's motivations are. There are heroes in this book and there are people who do some very bad things, but there aren't many villains. And the way I wrote it is deliberately designed to prompt you to have a moment when you're really sympathizing with a character and then suddenly you realize, wait a minute, that's a murderer who I was just cheering for. Because we're all complicated and, you know, we probably don't cheer for murderers in our everyday lives, but there are people who we make out to be villains and there are people who we think we don't understand, who we could learn a lot more about if we tried to see things from their point of view. So I'd like you to come to sea with me. I'd like you to enjoy the squad that I wrote. I'd like you to be really tired because you stayed up late reading. And I'd like you to ask yourself how much you actually know about people's motivations.